The Asgardians shake into the snake that you cannot trust.
Imagine going to career day at school and bringing your dad, Eternity. Spoiler alert, but Thor Love and Thunder finally gave us our first full look at the Marvel Universal constant known as Eternity. Hinted back in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Eternity appears to grant Gorr his final wish before perishing at his feet. Eternity then brought back to life Gorr's daughter, now living with Thor and gifted with the powers of Eternity, making her a certified child of Eternity.
Not me. What?
However, she's not even close to the first. Granted, all the rest sound like the setup lines to knock-knock jokes, but they're still some of the most powerful beings in the universe. Let's take a look at Eternity's strongest children right now. Entropy is one of, if not the most powerful offspring of Eternity, and definitely one of the most rebellious. One day, Entropy decided that he wanted to destroy his father, thus ending all of existence. In the ultimate apple falling far from the tree move, Entropy aligned himself with Genus Vel, and together the two successfully destroyed Eternity, and thus all of time and space. Genus, Entropy, his sister Epiphany, and Rick Jones were the only 4 beings left in existence, and needless to say, Entropy became bored. He wanted to continue destroying, but there was nothing left. Instead, Rick Jones convinced Entropy to try creating something instead. In a moment, Entropy then became the new Eternity, bringing to life the universe and everything. This was then revealed by Entropy to be his eternal life cycle, but more importantly cemented him as the most powerful of Eternity's children. Essentially, Entropy is the one who went on to take over the family business after their father was gone. You know, just after killing their father and everything along with him. Overall, Entropy is the manifestation of disorder and chaos, and has displayed some amazing power, even though eventually he restores all of the things he sent into disarray. Eternity's kid Eulogy is a weird one. He represents things coming to an end, and usually caps it off with some kind of speech. This means that Eulogy is insanely powerful, as he is even responsible on a meta level of certain comic storylines coming to an end. He has the ability to end the life of anyone, any civilization, and any universe. Eulogy took a different path than many of his brothers and sisters, and actually disguised himself as a human named Al, and worked in a comic shop on Earth called Golden Orange Comics. He was able to wipe out the entire universe of the owners of the comic shop, when he decided to bring them to their end. He also was able to talk a version of Captain Marvel into giving up, forcing his end, believing that no one needed him. Overall, Eulogy has some incredible understated power, and at the end of all things, he will be there. For a very long time, it was believed Eternity had 7 children, collectively known as the 7 Friendless. Sad, I know. However, 2 new children were recently revealed by the names of Then and Now. Then, the brother of the 2 personified the past, while his sister Now personified the present. These 2 children of Eternity, oddly enough, have a lot in common with the trickster god Loki, as they love to manipulate and trick people into using their powers. Which, by the way, are extensive. Starting with Then, he has the ability to influence all of history leading up to the present. He even did this for Loki when he found himself in the halls of All-Knowing at Omnipotent City. Then offered Loki a chance to make untold stories reality just by telling them, showing the incredible power this young child of Eternity has. Loki signed a deal with Then, and therefore all of his history kept in books in the halls of All-Knowing were altered to make it seem as though Loki had been a hero throughout his time. Several other heroes have actually struck the same deal with Then, including Thor, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. Overall, the ability to rewrite history is an incredible and dangerous gift. Given that it's in the hands of a child, is definitely problematic to say the least. Then's sister Now works in tandem with him, though she is the physical manifestation of the present, meaning she can alter people's perceptions of events happening in real time. Together, she and her brother have the ability to change the future thanks to their manipulation of the past and the present. Together with Then, she sought out heroes who wanted more time in their life or a second chance at changing their history. These beings all had different reasons. As I said, Thor and Spider-Man were 2 of their customers. Now even changed Spider-Man's fate, allowing him to live on and sacrifice himself for the greater good more often.
I could do that.
Now's manipulation over current events in the form of record-keeping books is an incredible power and has the ability to sway the future, which she and her brother do time and time again. Epiphany is Eternity's daughter, and has a very short stint in the comics, but as a child of one of the most powerful entities in the universe, Epiphany was handed down some incredible power. She is the living embodiment of sudden flashes of insight, meaning she has been responsible loosely to many of the most important moments in history, given that she has existed for an immeasurable amount of time. She is likely responsible for Steve crashing the plane, Thor destroying the Bifrost, and Scarlet Witch understanding that she was acting like a crazy person trying to destroy the multiverse. She may be only tied to these events due to her nature, but she has actually appeared in physical form and had relationships with known Marvel characters. The two that stick out are Rick Jones and a version of Captain Marvel named Genus Vel. Genus Vel was the version of Captain Marvel who, along with Epiphany's brother Entropy, destroyed their father Eternity. After the end of all time and space, Epiphany was actually one of the 4 beings who remained alive until Entropy took the place of Eternity. Needless to say, she probably gave him the idea. Epiphany also wound up having a daughter, making Eternity a grandfather. Epiphany used DNA from the original Captain Marvel, Mar-Vell, and created the hero Phyla-Vell, who would also wind up taking on the Captain Marvel moniker. Overall, Epiphany is very important and powerful, though she's more of an influencer than actually doing the legwork. Eon is one of the few children of Eternity who is currently confirmed to exist in the MCU, since his statue actually appeared alongside beings like the Living Tribunal in the Hall of Eternity. Eon is essentially the personification of time, and even oversees it from his own universe called the Eonverse. While Eon is extremely powerful, some of his greatest acts are choosing others to pass the power on to. Eon is definitely an heroic entity, as he is known to choose a protector of the universe. He has turned the beings Mar-Vell and Quasar into galactic heroes and granted them such powerful weapons as cosmic awareness and the quantum bands. The power of cosmic awareness is something Eon personally oversees, so characters who possess it like Galactus and the Silver Surfer had to learn it from him. Overall, Eon is a powerful being, but he has been slain and replaced in the comics hierarchy by his offspring Epoch. There is very little that is known about several of Eternity's children, but their power sets can be guessed based on their name. Take Empathy, for example. Empathy is believed to be the physical embodiment of emotions and feelings, also insinuating that they have power over that facet of life. Empathy likely has the ability to influence people to feel a certain way. While Epiphany plants moments of insight, Empathy is able to influence how beings react to those moments of insight. Empathy is responsible for the hate in Loki's heart that caused him to invade New York. He's also responsible for the love in Tony's that caused him to sacrifice himself to save the universe and his family. Essentially, Empathy has the ability to drive characters to certain actions based on how they respond emotionally to any given situation. Which, if you've been following along closely, you've probably come to the same conclusion that I have. Yup, Mantis is the MCU's version of Empathy.
I'm learning many things like I'm a pet and ugly.
Enmity is one of the more dark and sadistic offsprings of Eternity, though not much is actually known about her. She is the physical manifestation of deep-rooted hatred, one of the darkest feelings in the universe, likely responsible for some of the most heinous things done in the past, present, and future, is thanks to the rebellious daughter of Eternity known as Enmity. All of the villains who have killed millions, destroyed civilizations, and sought revenge on the world's greatest heroes are all thanks to a deep feeling of hate represented by Enmity. Some of Eternity's children make you stop and think if maybe he should have stopped reproducing after he hit like 5 or something. Only because there's only so many cool things cosmic beings can be the physical embodiment of. Take Expediency, for example. He has only appeared once, but he is believed to be the manifestation of things happening quickly. In some ways, Expediency does have power, as he is able to make things in the universe more efficient and timely. But overall, I have to imagine he's the little brother that all the other children of Eternity just rag on. At the end of Thor Love and Thunder, we are introduced to the newest technical child of Eternity, Love. Gorr the God Butcher had to bury his sweet daughter after his entire people had been wiped out. Seeking aid, he found his god, who cast him aside, basically handing him the Necrosword and transforming him into the God Butcher. Gorr then ravaged the universe, striking down all those who believed themselves to be gods out of revenge for the loss of his people and his daughter. After kidnapping Asgardian children, he lured Thor and the newly appointed Mighty Thor, Jane Foster, to the gates of Eternity at the center of the universe. It was said that the first to reach Eternity would have one wish granted to them. After Jane destroyed the Necrosword and therefore Gorr's life force, he crawled to Eternity with the intention of wishing for the destruction of all gods. Thor, however, convinced him to choose love over hate, and instead Gorr, though he was dying, wished for the return of his daughter to life, and made Thor, who at the same time lost Jane Foster to Valhalla, promise to watch over the newest child of Eternity, Love. Love is a bit of an unknown quantity in terms of her power, but she is being trained by one of the greatest warriors in the universe. She has already shown the ability to fire concussive blasts from her eyes, and can wield Stormbreaker no problem. Overall, she's the physical manifestation of a ruthless villain who chose love. It's just ironic how love is now being trained to mow down aliens with an axe, but hey, I digress.
Said it was going to be like a relaxing holiday.
Certain beings in the universe have absolute untold power, which means that when they reproduce, it is a mixed bag of cosmic power likely never seen before. Eternity is no exception. Which of Eternity's children do you believe are the most powerful?